What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Scattered Brilliancy. My name is Travis and I'm going to be your host for today's episode. And today I decided that I wanted to try to do something a little bit different, and we'll see how it works out, and if it's something that I like doing and something that is actually content that y'all want to be seeing, I may do it more often. So we're going to call today's video Friday Roundup. I don't know if y'all actually going to get it on Friday, but I'm filming this on a Friday. And I thought I would just talk about a lot of the topics that are big right now in the news and that are kind of the headlines right now. Just kind of give my opinion on them. So we'll see how that goes. So let's get started. Alright, so first story up, there is a chapter of NAACP, which stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in Spokane, Washington, and their president has come under fire for misleading the public and making it seem like she's African American when she's really not. Her name is Rachel Dolezal, hope I'm saying the last name right. And if you look at pictures of this woman, you would think that she is African American, or if nothing else, at least mixed with African American. She looks like many light-skinned African-American women that I know, or black women, whatever the term is you choose to use. She looks like that. I've seen several pictures of her and she has what would be typically considered a black hairstyle, be it the thick poetic justice type braids. I've seen her with curly hair, and even a post from hers on Facebook that said, "I'm going to my natural state," and she has curly hair, which, if no one questioned anything, you would think that she's an African American woman, because when you hear African American women say they're going natural, it's typically meaning that their hair is going back to what is considered its natural state, which for most is a kinky, curly type of texture, So her parents, one or both, have come out saying that, y'all, she ain't really black. She's white. And maybe some other stuff, but she's not black. And that is kind of weird, for a woman to be portraying herself to be a black woman and not have any black in them at all. Well, somebody has got these photos of her, what she used to look like younger photos from her past, at least 15 years ago, because they have a picture of her wedding reception. And the woman in those pictures and the woman that in the pictures that I've seen, what the lady looks like now, looks like two completely different races, but you can still tell it's the same person. Where do they do that at? Now, my thoughts on this whole thing. This is weird. It's weird, it's interesting, and kind of, I feel like the first time I've ever heard of it happening this way. A lot of times you hear about black people wanting to lighten their skin to not be seen as black. But here you have a woman who is tanning, or just, she's got to be tanning. She's tanning her skin so that she can seem black. Now, is she doing it so that she can run the particular chapter? I'm interested to find out what's going on inside of her mentally, to find out what it is that made her want to do this. I don't know if she has actually come out in response to, that ain't really allegations, if she's come out in response to what her parents have said. But I have read that she has decided she's distanced herself from her family. So it's all tied up into each other. And so I personally feel that it's kind of hard to say, because I don't necessarily think that just because you're not African American that you can't represent. No, you can't represent. You can't represent a race that you're not, but you can stand up for justice for that particular race, and you can stand up for rights for a particular race. It's just like, I kind of look at it as, and I don't want anybody to jump down my throat, I kind of look at it as a heterosexual standing up for homosexual rights. While you're not the homosexual yourself, you still feel like they deserve X, Y, and Z, so you're rallying for that. So I can totally understand her being very supportive of the African American black community, but to portray yourself as being a member of the African American or black community is a bit messed up. So I'm hoping that, I find out something soon, and, we find out what it is that's going on with her and why she thought that was okay, because it's not. the injustices in McKinney, Texas. So for those who haven't seen the video by now, there was a pool party down in McKinney, Texas, and from what I've gathered, it was a pool in, not gonna say necessarily a gated community, but it's not necessarily a public pool, it's the neighborhood's pool. But there was a pool party going on and various people were coming, I think more than what was allowed to come, because I think you're only supposed to allow 2 to 3 people per person. You know, if you live there, you can only bring 2 to 3 people. Either way, there was a pool party and the cops were called on the black kids. So there was a white kid who was videotaping what happened when the police showed up. And from the video, I've seen the 7-minute version. I heard there's a 15-minute version, but I have not seen that one yet. In the 7-minute version, you see this one particular cop just kind of running. And then he like trips and falls and like does a roll or something. So when I saw it initially, even though it's a serious subject, I started laughing because I'm like, he's being real extra. Like he was flying, he was gone, and then he tripped, fell, and rolled and kept going. But anyway, he's like running all over the place, trying to get everybody in line, telling all these kids to sit down, and he's doing all of this cursing at the kids, which I really didn't understand. And the thing with these videos is always hard to kind of understand what's going on, because when you're looking at a video, you really only get one side of the actual story, and you don't get the full scope of everything that's going on. Because he's trying to get people to leave, he's telling certain black kids to stay, but telling other people to go away. But not one time do I remember in that video seeing him address any of the white children with there. Which I'm not gonna say he was wrong or right about that, but I can understand if somebody called the police on black kids, I guess it would make sense that you would only be addressing the black kids. But I just found it very odd how he addressed them as opposed to how he didn't address anyone else. Now, the most controversial part of this video was the way that he handled that young girl. There was a girl who, in the video, she left. She appeared to be walking away and somehow she came back. Either way, bruh man ended up grabbing, did he grab her braids? I don't remember. He manhandled this girl. A girl who was thin and in the bikini, no less. Manhandled her, threw her onto the ground, was like slinging her around, her braids were going all over the place, and then he was like trying to shove her face into the grass. And that part I just really didn't understand, like what he gained out of shoving her face in the grass. And then at one point he put his knees, both knees actually, because he sat on top of her to try to restrain her. And of course the girl was hysterical on the ground, calling for her mom and all that kind of stuff. And we're not gonna even mention the part that he pulled out his gun. We ain't even gotta talk about that part, because we already know how that goes. But he pulled out his gun on some unarmed black kids, but we ain't gotta talk about that. So of course I believe everybody was pretty much in agreement saying that how he handled the situation was absolutely incorrect and that he should not have done that. Because when you looked at his counterparts, those two other policemen in the video, they weren't as turned up as he was. Like, I don't know if I think I had heard that he had came from some kind of suicide thing, so he was emotional. You know, that's not necessarily an excuse to give you, that's not an excuse for you to be throwing a little girl around and to be yelling at kids and cursing at them. Like, that's one thing I just don't like. I don't like when people can't get their point across without just doing a whole bunch of cursing. You don't have to tell people to sit your ass down and, you know, all of that. It's just unnecessary to me. Then another part about the story that I don't like is that he was able to resign before he got a chance to be fired. So now he has that opportunity to go apply at another police station and possibly get another job doing the same thing. Because see, that's the thing. You know, the police, their job is to protect and to serve. But without these videos and without your personal interactions with them, you really don't know what they're doing. You know, you don't know if they're protecting and they're serving, or if they're serving an ulterior motive, or, you know, trying to get through with their own agenda. You don't really know. So videos like this make it really, really hard for people who already are quite questionable. I don't think that's right. Videos like this make it hard for people who already don't trust the cops to trust the cops, because all it is just another file to put in the case on why I shouldn't trust the cops and how they treat black people. There are plenty of good cops out here. It's just the bad ones, they get a hard. The bad ones give a hard. What am I talking about? The bad ones make it hard for the good ones, and they give the good ones a bad rap. That's what I was trying to say. But like I said, he has resigned, and there have been people who were involved in that video, because if you look at the video, there are some other adults in the video who seem to be in a position of power, but really have nothing to do with what's going on. Like, they're not the law. So why, like the big man with the really big stomach, and I think he had on a gray shirt, like he was out there regulating. But I'm hoping that he gets addressed. There was a woman who was there who was fighting. I think she's been fired. There was a principal who posted something. I think he's been reprimanded. So it's good to see that the people who were involved, who were kind of treating the situation differently. Excuse me. It's good to see that the people who were involved, who were kind of going about this in the wrong way and talking about it on social media in a disrespectful way towards black people, have been reprimanded and they're being dealt with. You know, I would hate if this turned into another situation where you got video evidence and you see clearly what's going on and nothing is still being done. But yeah, I don't really think that stuff like this is ever gonna stop happening, because racism, I almost feel like will forever exist in this world. I do feel like that, because it's definitely something that's not, well, it is learned and it's taught, but you're not born with a racist heart. But currently, authorities are still on the hunt for 2 escaped prisoners, murderers, who have escaped from an upstate New York prison. Richard Matt, who's 48, and David Sweat, who's 34, were discovered missing on June 6th at about 5:30 a.m. And currently, right now, it is June 12th, and they have still not been found. I'm gonna need for those who watch me in New York to be careful. But that is a scary thought, to think that the one place on earth, the one of many places on earth that's supposed to be able to house criminals and be able to keep criminals from being a part of regular society, couldn't even do that. Said that they got out through squeezing through some type of pipes or something like that. Either way, they succeeded in their breakout. And it's actually a really, really scary thought to think that 2 murderers, because I read their charges, not the charges, but I read their rap sheets and what they've done, and it's a little scary. But as of right now, we're 6 days in, and, or is it considered 7? We're 6 or 7 days in, and they still have not been found. So, we're keeping some prayers up that they will be caught and that no other hurt, harm, or danger comes from all of this. Today is June 12th, and it is the release of season 3 of Orange is the New Black, the hilarious dramedy that comes on Netflix. I know a lot of people are going to be binge watching the season. If they haven't already binge watched and finished, I will be starting the season this evening, and I'm looking forward to that. That is one of my favorite shows. I'm trying my best to remind myself to pace myself so that I don't end up watching the whole season in a day and then have to wait 364 more days before I get to season 4. So, Orange is the New Black is out. Let me know if you're watching and tell me what you think about season 3. Tell me what you want to remember. Don't tell me what you think about season 3, because I don't want you to spoil it for me. So never mind. Don't tell me that. Jurassic World, which is the 4th, I think, installment in the Jurassic Park franchise, comes out today. I am kind of excited about it, and I'm probably gonna go see the movie tomorrow. I think the premise is years later they've kind of redone the Jurassic Park, and they have used technology to create a hybrid dinosaur or something like that. And of course, dinosaurs break out and all hell breaks loose, and that's kind of how it all goes. But that's coming out. That came out today, so let me know if you go see that and what you thought of the movie. Just don't give me any spoilers, because I'm probably going tomorrow. So. And then this really has nothing to do with news, but I saw it on my Facebook timeline along with some other foolishness. And this is one thing that I wanted to address. And this is the last thing, because I don't even know how long this video is going to end up being. I saw a picture, a collaged picture of a black couple. And there's like 3 pictures at the top, and then maybe 2 on the bottom. There's a girl who propose to her boyfriend. And in those first 3 pictures, he's like standing shirtless, so they gotta be at some kind of like party or something. And she's like on her knees and like holding him by the hips, like she's about to give him head. And she proposes to him, and he accepts. And then he has a picture of the ring in his BMW. He made sure that he placed the ring over the BMW emblem, so you knew that he drives a BMW. So let me just give my thoughts quickly on women proposing to men. I'm well aware that we live in a new kind of world, and that gender roles, I guess, are kind of going out the door. And people are looking at things like whether you're a man or you're a woman, you can do anything you want to do, whether it's something that typically a man does or something that typically a woman does. I can agree to a certain extent that there are things that, gender has absolutely nothing to do with. But women, girls, gals, ladies, please listen up. If you ever are to the point in your relationship where you want to marry a man so bad and he is not taking the initiative to propose to you, do not go out and buy a ring and propose to him. That screams, oozes desperation. I feel like there's nothing more desperate looking for a woman to do than to propose to a man. I thought the same thing when Chrissy proposed to Jim Jones on the very first Love and Hip Hop. That is such a desperate move, because it's almost saying like, I want to marry you so bad, I'm impatient. It also screams impatience. It's saying, I want to marry you so bad that I can't wait on you to give me a ring. So I'm gonna get you a ring, and then I'm gonna get down on my knee and ask you to marry me. And I don't know, it's just something about when a man proposes to a woman, when he gets on his knee, he's like lowering himself. I don't know, it's probably really deep, and I can't really articulate why it's so deep. But he gets down on one knee, he's looking up at her, almost as if he's almost as if he's lowering himself and humbling himself to the lowest point possible to show you how much he cares for you and how much he appreciates you and loves you, and he asks you to marry you and all of that, so on and so forth. But for me to see that pretty woman, she may have been pretty. Pictures can be deceiving. To see that pretty woman down on her knees, she maybe used to be on her knees. I'm sorry, that was really rude. To see that pretty woman down on her knee proposing to this man made me feel really, really bad for her. And then it made me feel like, how could you as a man allow your woman to get down on the knee and he's just cheesing, because it almost looked very pimp hope prostitutional. That's really what it looked like. Because just the way he was smiling and the way she just looked like a puppy dog, like maybe he just has really good stuff, and maybe that's what it is. Either way, I think she's stupid for doing that. I think any woman who proposes to a man is stupid. Just my opinion. I kind of look at it as, if you're with the man and he wants to marry you and he wants to propose to you first, he will do it in his own time. All men are not the same. All men are different. We all kind of date differently. But when a man really wants to be with you and he really wants to spend the rest of his life with you, give him the opportunity to propose to you. Don't try to go jumping the gun just because you're in a rush to get married. And they're a young looking couple at that. And then, not to mention the fact that he had to put the ring over a BMW emblem means that he has the funds to buy your tail a ring. It'd be different if he was driving in a hoopty, he just really didn't have it like that. But clearly, by the way this man was dressed and the car that he drives, he has the funds to get her a ring if he really wanted to get her a ring. But I don't like that. I don't like the whole woman proposing to the man thing. I don't like it. I don't. But y'all tell me what y'all think about it. Tell me what y'all thoughts are on men proposing to women. But I didn't like that picture at all. I didn't like it, because women, you deserve so much more than that. You deserve so much more than to lower yourself to that. The man is supposed to come to you. You're supposed to be chased, not do the chasing. Like, I hate that. Because it almost seems like she has low self-esteem. I don't know, I can go out there. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about this video. This is the first one I've tried like this, and it felt really, really weird because usually I'm used to just getting on here and talking about a topic and just going. I've had to do so many takes of some of these topics, it's ridiculous. But y'all tell me what y'all thought. Tell me if y'all actually like it, if y'all want more videos like this, and if you do want more videos, you know, what kind of topics would you like for me to cover and talk about? But this is a Friday roundup. Hopefully y'all get it this evening. Hopefully it's evening when you're getting this, but you know, we'll see. Thank y'all so much for watching my videos. I appreciate y'all so much. I really do. Thank you to those who are the constant viewers and the constant commenters and the people who are always, you know, just support me in everything that I do. I finished my school year. Our last day of school was yesterday. I'm free for the summer. I'm about to have a good time. And I'll be able to make more videos and make them on a more consistent basis now that I'm not working anymore. So y'all take care. Make sure you like, comment, rate, and subscribe. And I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.